Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 1993 horror comedy film My Boyfriend's Back. Hour 25 minutes, including credits. Matthew Fox is in this. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in this. Cloris Leachman is in this. Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey. This is his first movie, I believe. This has so many people in it who then we've seen do so many amazing things since then. It's just very interesting watching an earlier film of people when they were much younger, and it's just time is wild, man. Time is just so wild. I had no idea that Philip Seymour Hoffman played the character of Chuck in this, but I'm looking at Chuck and I'm like, he looks familiar. And then looking at the credits later on, and I'm like, oh, that's why he looks familiar. Or Buck, played by Matthew Fox, and I'm like, he looks familiar. And then looking at the credits later on, I'm like, holy crap, had no idea. But Cloris Leachman, you know who Cloris Leachman is immediately. Anytime you see and hear her, incredible actress. So this film is surprising. It's a comic book style kind of film. Main character is this kid, 17 years old. All these high school seniors, right? They're prepping for prom, but he and his friends plan to. How do they explain it? Johnny Dingle's character and his friends try to stage a robbery. There we go. In front of his friend Missy, who works at this convenience store. He's been in love with her since first grade, and he just never has the guts to tell her, even though she's been dating Buck, Matthew Fox's character, this for like 6 years. And so they stage a robbery to, make it look like that Johnny had gotten rid of the bad guy, and then, he saved Missy, and therefore she's going to love him immediately. But an actual robber switches the role and then winds up shooting winds up shooting Johnny. And so then they have a funeral, dead, but then he comes back to life. But then now he's undead. And then he's starting to decay. Like pieces are coming off of him. And then all of a sudden Missy's just obsessed with him and just absolutely needs to be with him, wants to physically be with him, wants to date him, wants to go out with him. And then the town is starting to realize, like, this is going to be a problem if he's a zombie, because zombies have to eat people. And the only way that he's going to survive is by eating people. So then he winds up killing Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. No, he winds up inadvertently axing his own head, to which then Johnny then chomps on him. Different. So then it's a matter of, can Johnny make it to Friday before he fully decays? Because that's when the prom is, and that's when Johnny and Missy got to go to prom. So then it's a matter of who is he eating when, and who's being kidnapped to then be eaten, and it was a very strange, wild film. There was a lot of fantasy dreams as well, but it was told in the narration of Johnny, and it was shot transitional scenes of like turning the page of a comic book. It was very different. It's very different. Not many people talk about this film, but it was surprisingly good. It was surprisingly entertaining. This would be a great musical, to be completely honest. I wouldn't have called it My Boyfriend's Back, because Missy does not technically date Johnny. She still technically is dating Buck at various points, and he's not her boyfriend when he dies, even though she then starts to be with him after the fact when he's back in the undead. I wouldn't have called it My Boyfriend's Back. I don't know what I would have called it. We could just call it Johnny's Back. But it was different. It was entertaining. This would be a really good musical. I want somebody to make this into a musical. Quick, fast, never boring at any point. Wonderful, glorious 90s, early 90s film. The good transition between 80s pop culture to 90s pop culture. Clothes, fashion, music, technology, cars. I enjoyed watching kids be kids, because you don't have social media and nobody was playing on a cell phone when you're in the lunchroom, when you're in the cafeteria, when you're at the park, when you're doing all these things, right? Everybody's just in the moment. We don't get that anymore. That's not a thing anymore. It might be a thing again, but maybe not in my lifetime. Who knows? My Boyfriend's Back, 93, funny horror comedy film. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.